Hello and welcome to I've Seen Everything, where the name is ironic and the reactions are... Hello everyone, it's Andrew here. Good to be back with you again. It's been a little bit, it's been a little crazy, but today we have a movie to focus on. And that movie is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which barely won our first poll for February and happens to have the rare distinction of being the only Quentin Tarantino movie I have yet to actually see. So what do I know about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Not a ton, I don't think. It's one of these kind of like Inglourious Basterds. It's a work of historical fiction, meaning that it takes place around an actual event with some actual people, but then there are other people in here that are fictional. And so Mr. Tarantino uses that dynamic to tell a completely different story. As far as what that story is, I know it has something to do with the Sharon Tate murders. I know Bruce Lee makes an appearance. And I know that we have Leonardo DiCaprio back, this time not in anything approaching as villainous a role as what he played in Django Unchained, which is a nice turn for him. And we also have Brad Pitt, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is Brad Pitt's, no, it just said Inglourious Basterds and I forgot. So this would probably be Brad Pitt's second time working with Quentin Tarantino and Leonardo DiCaprio's second time. That's all I know. I know that Leonardo DiCaprio plays an actor in here. I know this is obviously set in the 60s, like the later 60s, I think. But let's stop with me making all the random guesses about what happens in this movie and let's actually watch this movie. So to remind everybody, the full-length reaction to this movie has already likely been up for a little while on my new Patreon. Everything on the Patreon is free as we're getting it off the ground over there. So there's some stuff over there already. There's going to be some more exclusive stuff coming over there. Go over and have a look. I'd really appreciate it. And as far as this channel, if you'd be so kind as go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down there. Click the bell so you can see when I'm putting out new videos. And beyond that, folks, let's not waste any more time. Let's get going with Quentin Tarantino's most recent film, 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Here we go. Columbia.
Jake Cahill on Party Law, Thursdays at 8:30.
Oh, so it wasn't even a movie. It's a Western television show.
If you think you're seeing double, don't adjust your television sets because, well, in a way you are.
I appreciate what they're doing, but I don't think that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt look that much alike.
Cliff here is meant to help carry the load.
Is that how you describe your job, Cliff?
What, carrying his load? Yeah, it's about right.
I do find it interesting that they asked the guy who isn't the stuntman about what it's like to be a stuntman. Seems like you'd ask the guy who does it. Why do they always do that? They mix up the names. They do that on movie posters too. Margot Robbie enters the chat. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine she had a very long career, but I don't know a lot about Sharon Tate and like movies she was in and stuff. Was she at the very beginning of her career? Was there anything notable she was in before that happened? So they're friends and they hang out, but they don't like talk a whole bunch or anything. They both seem kind of miserable a little bit.
The face in the misty.
Mr. Pacino. I thought I remembered he was in this.
Rick got his driver's license taken away for too many drunk driving tickets. Cliff drives him everywhere now.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes more sense why they weren't necessarily super happy either.
14 fists of McCluskey. What a picture.
Good picture, yeah.
I was about to say, did he do nothing but westerns, or do we actually have other kinds of movie? Tarantino revisiting the Nazis one more time. It's a villain that never really gets old for most people.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut?
What a line. The funny part, and the part where Tarantino takes a little license, I think, is I don't know if they've made movies quite that violent back in the 60s.
Crazy weapon. I was scared of the damn thing, to be honest.
Anything we can do about that heat?
It's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Anything we could do about the heat? It's fire, dude. What do you want?
Caught up with him about 5 miles outside of town.
The name of this town is Janistown. And that boy you killed was Jody Janis.
It's interesting seeing modern versions of old things, meaning like they're trying to make this look like a television show from the 60s. It's a bit clearer than a television show from the 60s, and style's a little different, obviously, but... There's quite a tone shift. Don't know if that one works quite so well.
So, Rick, who's gonna kick the shit out of you next week? Mannix? How about Batman and Robin? Ping! Pow!
This is taking kind of a brutal turn. They were being pretty nice, and he's basically telling him that his career is in the
Or do you go to Rome and star in westerns and win fights?
Okay, so maybe he was just trying to make the point clearly about why he needs to do the thing he wants him to do, which is apparently go to Rome and star in westerns. So he starts in is that what spaghetti westerns were? Italian-produced westerns?
What did that guy tell you?
Told me the goddamn truth is what he told me.
Yikes.
Wants to help me get into Italian movies.
Well, then what's the problem?
I gotta do fucking Italian goddamn movies. That's a fucking problem. Come on.
I don't really know enough about movie productions in the 60s. I know that spaghetti westerns were popular. I don't know if they were seen as like lesser, kind of lower budget kind of stuff. Who knows about westerns from the 60s? Let me know. Were the American westerns more prestigious than the spaghetti westerns? Okay, so we have the first little overlap of our stories there. And as far as he can see, she's just a cute girl. Turns out to be considerably more than that. See, there are things I feel like because of my lack of knowledge of this part of history that don't really have the impact that I think they're supposed to. Yeah, that's what I thought was probably the significance of that. Is it's where Sharon, Tate, and Roman Polanski lived.
Numero uno, the new thing in colognes for men. In all
It is an interesting dynamic for them to have created where a washed up actor is living next door to, at that point, a very famous director.
Flat on my ass. And who I got living next door to me? Director Rosemary's fucking Baby, that's who.
Rosemary's Baby, watched here on the channel. Boop. I did that. It's probably the wrong side.
All right, 7:15 a.m.
7:15.
Out the door.
So is he actually his friend, or is this just a job for him? Because it seems like they're in kind of a similar position. He also seems like an older stuntman, which probably makes it harder for him to get hired. It's quite a commute back home, it seems like, kind of illustrating the stark differences in their lives. His stuntman definitely does not live near there. Yep, it appears as though he lives in the shadow of a drive-in in a trailer. Quite a different living situation than Rick Dalton. But Cliff Booth has a dog, so I think he wins. That's got to get challenging, living in a space that small, like on a regular basis. I mean, I'm sure you can get used to a lot.
I will throw this in the trash. I don't want to, but I will. All right.
Hey, man, you're alone long enough. You will start talking to the dog. Well, I talk to my dog. Sue me.
Johnny said, toast.
Making a pretty clear point about this kind of actor, but someone who's this self-obsessed.
Hey, where's that chili pepper dot of yours? Fiddle.
She's asleep.
I just realized what he was doing. He's running lines with this thing.
9 o'clock in the City of Angels. Your brother here to testify.
Okay, so we got 3 different stories. Well, I don't know if they're 3, because the Manson thing and the Sharon Tate thing are obviously connected. I wonder if we just keep seeing flashes of them, or if there's actually going to be a story that follows them. I guess we're about to find out. This is the most we've followed them. We've just kind of seen them here and there before. Again, very different lifestyles or very different levels of success. He's at home running lines in his pool, and they're going to a party at the Playboy Mansion.
She was engaged to him, and she to make a film with him. I broke off her engagement. Him and the 3 of them have been inseparable.
So was this a rumor, I guess, that she and Roman Polanski, who I'm assuming she was with at the time, and then her former fiance, that they were all like in a thing together? Society gossip type stuff that I'm definitely not familiar with from that time period.
Dr. Saperstein.
He named his dog Saperstein. That's funny.
Go home, fix my antenna, do whatever. See it right.
Hey! You're Rick f***ing Dalton. Don't you forget it.
I'm still trying to figure out the dynamics of their relationship. I mean, you'd figure there has to be some resentment here. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe they actually are friends or something. But he wasn't willing to try very hard for him to get him a stunt job on the movie. And he has him fixing his television antenna. He's basically his chauffeur and his go-to, like, gopher kind of guy.
Well, I'm the one who cast you, and I could not be more delighted that you're doing this.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
I appreciate it. That's a good part. Yeah.
I'm also trying to figure out his characterization. He's been an actor, or a pretty successful TV actor all this time. The stutter and the kind of emotional turbulence and stuff, is that because he went through a difficult time because the show got canceled, or is it just supposed to be indicative of who he is as kind of an insecure actor? All right, we're crossing over again. They are doing a good job of making it pretty subtle. Yeah, I was going to say, that's the next step. It's going to give him a ride. No, not this time. A little bit closer each time. Next time he actually will give him a ride, probably, or something. I mean, maybe he's just content with it, like a job's a job, you know? I did catch that, by the way, that they got the flamethrower from that movie. That was impressive, by the way, how he got up on the roof. I mean, again, he is a stuntman, but still. He's believable. I mean, Brad Pitt's a good actor, but like they really kind of got the weathered stuntman thing going on here. I think they're doing a pretty good job so far of finding subtle ways to kind of blend these stories together. I'm assuming they're all going to come together at some point. Although maybe they don't. Maybe I'm wrong to think that.
The guy who gaffs this, best friend was Brandy, so really ain't no point.
See, that one stuck with me too. He could have at least tried. I just wonder if they're going to have some big falling out before the end of this and just going to tell him to go to hell.
Just put him in the wardrobe. Hey, you could do anything you want to him. Throw him off a building, right?
I mean, he is fighting for him, but still, to invite him to do whatever the hell he wants to him.
The dude killed his fucking wife.
You don't believe that old shit, do you?
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I don't know the history. See, I had heard something about that.
On the boat with a person.
Well, she seems just fucking lovely.
4 hours on this shithole of a boat.
Yeah, I could see the setup there.
Now, I admire Cassius Clay, I do. In his sport, there's an element of true combat.
I know this scene a little bit. They did do a good job casting a Bruce Lee, I think.
That's two warriors engaged in combat. That's what I admire. In martial arts tournaments, they won't let you fight like that. It's very frustrating.
I heard the Lee family wasn't very happy with this representation of Bruce Lee. I wonder what the criticism was. Maybe they weren't consulted enough, or did they not feel like this is how he actually was?
They unleash as much punishment as they have to defeat the other guy.
It is pretty insufferable listening to someone walk around and just monologue like this.
Well, if you fought Cassius Clay, who would win?
That would never happen.
But if you did...
That wasn't the question. Way to dodge there.
Did I say something funny, stun man?
Yeah, you kind of did.
What's so funny?
Pretty arrogant. I don't know if Bruce Lee was actually that arrogant, but...
But my hands are registered as lethal weapons.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah. Your hands are registered as lethal weapons. I don't think that's how that works.
2 out of 3. Who puts who on the ground first?
That's a great idea, Kato.
Ooh, that was a hit. I don't know a lot about Bruce Lee, but I know enough to know that.
Not bad, Kato.
He keeps hitting it. I mean, he knocked him over, but he certainly didn't seem that affected by it. Oh. Yeah, that seems considerably more violent.
Whoa! Your wife-killing buddy boy here was beating the shit out of Bruce.
Nobody beat the shit out of Bruce.
Yeah, don't let that story get out. I don't think his ego could survive it.
What the f*** did you do to my car? Get the wardrobe off, get your shit, and get...
I will handle it. Get the wardrobe off, get your shit, and get off the lot.
I don't know how he thought it was going to go throwing somebody into a car like that. I mean, he planned that. He wanted him to try the exact same thing again and set himself up to do it. I'm pretty sure that's our Charles Manson.
Hello, can I help you?
Oh, yeah, hey, man, I'm looking for Terry.
This is the Polanski residence now.
Dang.
It's okay, honey. It's a friend of Terry's.
Almost taste it now.
Yeah, they did a good job making him up look like that. I do recognize him. I've seen him. I haven't watched the whole series, but I watched a little bit of Justified. I saw him on there. She's got some attitude for a young actor.
When we're on set, I prefer to only be referred to by my character's name. Always just a tiny bit better when I don't break character. And if I can be a tiny bit better, I want to be.
Jeez, man. She, and I understand this is the point of the scene, but that she's so much more developed than he is, it seems like, or at least so much more focused on the craft of what she's doing.
What are you, 12?
I'm 8. What's happening to Easy Breezy now?
He's not the best anymore. In fact, far from it. He's coming to terms with what it's like to be slightly more useful.
He's reading stuff and surrounding himself with stuff that reminds him of his own story. I wonder if some of us have the tendency to do that, is kind of gravitate towards stuff. I mean, probably gravitate towards stuff you relate to, but...
Sounds like a really sad book. I'm practically crying and I haven't even read it.
Nothing, Pumpkin Puss.
I don't like names like Pumpkin Puss.
Even then, she was kind of working on her character, and then he crossed a line, and she wasn't going to let him get away with it. She's something else. That young actor did quite a job.
Rick Dalton? You bet. Jim Stacy. This is my show. Welcome aboard.
Hey, Timothy Olyphant. Second person from Justified that I've seen so far. Okay, so she didn't necessarily intend to go see her own movie, but also, especially if she's a newer actor, I think there's a lot of people who might do that. Interesting to be able to see a movie that you helped to make actually in the theater.
I'm in the movie. I'm Sharon Tate.
Hey, Ruben! She's in this movie.
Would you like to come in and see the show?
Why don't you stand over by the poster so people will know who you are?
Don't know if to take that as a compliment or not. Probably more not. So with her in particular, I wonder how much of this... I mean, I'm presuming all this leading up to it actually happened. I mean, there doesn't seem for the story they're telling there'd be any reason they would make this up. I get that a little bit, I guess. Wanting to see how people react to your performance.
I'm sorry about... Welcome to Denmark.
Yeah, that doesn't actually look like her. So is that the real Sharon Tate? Well, that didn't take long. I mean, I know he did Justified, but Timothy Olyphant should do more Westerns. I just realized how stupid that is. Wasn't he in Deadwood? I haven't seen that one yet either.
Come on in and have a drink.
Well, in that case... Buy you a drink, Caleb?
This is, I just noticed what they're doing though too, and this is part of the reason I'm kind of zoned in on it. It's like you're watching this as a movie. You don't see the cameras or the production or anything like that. You're just kind of wrapped up in the story.
Pepe! Get your behind that bar, I have a guess.
Okay, now I know where we are. These are the lines he was running in the pool.
I just want her to play the fiddle. Line? Little chili pepper heart out, right? Right. Got it. Now go fetch her and tell her I'll give her a fat $5 gold piece. She play her little chili pepper heart out.
That's really an interesting way to do that. I like that. We're in the movie except for when he screws up a line, which I'm assuming we're going to see again.
I got it. Can I use all that? I'm going to use it. Oh, I'm going to use it.
We're bringing the camera shot back around. This is pretty amazing.
Drink too much, huh? Every night.
And the other thing is, the first thing he did when he came in here is broke his window, so everybody's listening to every word of this. Yeah. So that's an interesting idea then too, is to use the real, as opposed to splicing her in, to use the real footage, the real movie. Although they did make her look like a lot like her in that kind of cross-cut when she's practicing with Bruce. Yep. I like the way that they've built this, is that it's just kind of this cute, like, happenstance meeting, and then I'm assuming it's going to be revealed to him what she's actually into.
Looks like third time's a charm.
Mmm.
Emile?
Where you going?
I'm going to Chatsworth. Right to the movie ranch.
Wait, Spawn Movie Ranch?
I live there.
So, presumably a place where he used to work, at least to some degree. When she said it, I wonder if he was thinking, hey, maybe I get a job or something if they're still doing stuff out there. Or more just being surprised probably that people were living out there. All right, he's got something to prove now. And we're back in it again. Hey, Luke Perry. I forgot he was in this.
That is kind of funny.
It is. You do know kidnapping is a hanging offense.
So's blowing the heads off little girls.
Yeah, I really like the kind of movement back and forth between the being a good actor and not being a good actor, the more his insecurity comes up. Right now, he's kind of in prime form again.
Puts $50,000 in my lap, or I'll eat this little pitcher down a well.
Give me evil, sexy Hamlet.
Evil, sexy Hamlet. He comes back and gets it in one take after he tears apart his trailer. Everyone's got their process, I guess.
That's what I mean by scare me.
Yeah.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
That's the best acting that she's ever seen in her whole 8 years. Well, good for Rick, I guess. He got a win today, and he seemed like he needed it. They keep focusing in on his moccasins for some reason. That's either the second or third time they've shown us that he's wearing moccasins. So what is her thought here? She's going to recruit him? I guess probably. What do any cult members think when they bring in new people?
Welcome to our community.
It is Lena Dunham.
Charlie's gone. Everybody left. Mostly everybody. I really wanted Cliff to meet Charlie.
Seems like there's quite a few people around there for everybody to have left, pretty much.
Ain't she just darling?
That is Austin Butler, a.k.a. Austin Butler before Elvis.
Hey, does George Spawn still own this ranch?
Yeah, George still owns it.
And y'all take care of him?
Oh, we take care of George. We love George.
Did they kill George already? Which is seeming increasingly likely.
Why can't I see him right now?
This is his nap time.
Yeah, he's not stupid enough to not understand something's going on.
I think I'll just go see for myself. You never know. You might have just woke up.
Yep, they went from friendly to pretty menacing pretty quick. And the fact that they're all standing there just staring at him, just piling red flags on top of red flags.
You the mama bear?
Hey, I didn't remember she was in this.
I'm an old friend of George's. Thought I'd stop and say hello.
George is taking a nap right now.
I'd really like to say a quick hello now.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
I was going to say, I don't know how they don't understand how intensely creepy vibes they were giving off, but they're also all whacked out on drugs right now.
I'm coming in. With my own two eyes, I'm gonna get a good look at George.
Suit yourself.
All right, well, I didn't expect her to say that. So what's he going to find when he goes in there looking for George?
You might have to shake him awake. I f***ed his brains out this morning.
That's quite a statement to make. I wonder if this is a trap where he's going to get down there and they're all going to come in and try to kill him or something.
George is blind, so you'll probably have to tell him who you are.
George is blind, yet he watches TV with her. These people are not good liars. They just really aren't. Okay. They holding him hostage there, or are we about to have a psycho situation?
Everyone don't need a stuntman. She loves me.
Okay.
Suck on that.
So they're taking advantage of an old man who can't see to use his film ranch as a home base.
Are we kidnapping him?
Not the word I'd use.
Well, now that you've talked to him, do you believe everything's all right?
Not exactly.
I think they're pretty anxious about attracting attention to what they're doing out there.
You're the blind one!
Yeah. Yeah, nothing bad going on here. All seem like pretty level-headed people to me. How is that going to help him leave? Or maybe they're just that stupid. Who knows?
Fix it. You.
I don't think that's going to go over well. Ooh. I don't think he's going to be in condition to change a tire that way. I stand corrected. I guess he is changing the tire.
Go get Tex and get his ass down here.
Since this is fiction, you don't know what happens. Does Tex get down here before he's able to leave? And if so, what does that mean?
Tex! That wine guy's back at the ranch kicking Sam's face in. I'll take over for Tex. Right this way?
That was quite a mood shift. Emergency, emergency. Guy's getting beat up. I'll take over for Tex. Nope. He got out of there first. Guy was faster at changing a tire than I thought he'd be.
Here comes trouble.
Boom!
Oh, man, right in the face.
That's pretty graphic for a show back then. Guy got shot point blank driving a truck. Were there shows that were actually that violent back then on just on television? Seems like there were more restrictive censorship laws back then.
Turn on Channel 7, FBI. I'm watching your Nebraska gym as we speak.
So I guess maybe I didn't understand this earlier. Like, does he direct spaghetti westerns? Is that why he was pushing so hard? I have to assume that's what it was.
Sergio who?
Sergio Corbucci. The second best director of spaghetti westerns in the whole wide world.
This has an interesting tie back to Django Unchained because that's where he got the character Django. He reimagined it with Jamie Foxx, obviously, but Franco Nero playing Django in all those old westerns. Yeah, there's just still something that looks different about the authentic footage as opposed to the newer footage. I feel like they need to shoot it on lower quality cameras or something. That little bit is where, I mean, dangerous bit, but that little bit is where Cliff got his payday.
He has 4 new movies under his belt, some money in his pocket.
You have people who make a decent amount of money, but they seem to give it right back.
His brand spanking new Italian wife, starlet Francesca Capucci.
And he got married over in Italy.
With the new wife, I can't afford you anymore, Cliff. Barely afford my own house anymore.
Are we about to find out that Cliff's not really his friend? He's just been trying to keep him happy since he's been working for him.
When you come to the end of the line with a buddy who is more than a brother and a little less than a wife, getting blind drunk together is really the only way to say farewell.
In certain ways, they seem close, but in other ways, he's basically just works for him. I mean, like even right now, he told him he's not going to be able to employ him anymore. He's sitting there carrying their bags. Also, if he made a decent amount of money making spaghetti westerns, why wouldn't he just go back over there and make more? Hey, Rumor Willis. Huh? Again, complete lack of knowledge of what actually happened in this incident, or in these murders. I didn't know she was pregnant.
That night, Sharon, her 2 house guests, and naturally Jay, all went to the West Hollywood Mexican restaurant landmark El Coyote on Beverly. While closer to 8:30, Rick and Cliff went to the Valley Mexican restaurant landmark Casa Vega.
So we're closely following and narrating parallel storylines here. Also, I couldn't figure out who the narrator was for a while. I just now figured out it's Kurt Russell, which makes sense. But are we expecting these are going to intersect at some point, I wonder? Is that why we're starting to detail it this way?
While jet-lagged Francesca slept, Sharon was experiencing a touch of pregnancy-induced melancholy. Not only that, it was later reported that it was the hottest night of the year.
It's really starting to heighten the tension because you know there's supposed to be a murder here. And it's like he's reading the details of like the police report. Although they wouldn't be part of that. So that's the part I guess that doesn't fit.
It was after 11:45 by the time the yellow cab dropped Rick and Cliff in front of the house.
Hey, at least they were responsible enough not to drive, especially back in those days.
Hippie girl, 50 cents. Tonight, why not?
I mean, I guess just because it's so long ago, but it like late 60s, early 70s, but it seems like that's still pretty cheap. So whatever's about to happen, at least one person is going to tripping for it. Transition directly from one to another. He walks away with the dog, and this smoky car that's clearly the Manson people pulls up.
Hey, you! Yeah! I'm talking to you!
Yeah, he's gonna go out and start stuff with him because he's drunk out of his mind.
You don't belong here. Now take this mechanical and get it off my f***ing street!
You know, it's hard because I know what they're there to do, but he was being nice.
And drive it now! Okay, stop yelling.
He's lucky they didn't shoot him. I mean, I know we're trying to build the tension. So I'm assuming from this point, we have diverted from the actual history. Because I'm assuming in the real history, that was when they were there to... Hey, Maya Hawk. They were there to kill those people. And now our fictional character has disrupted that.
I can't believe that in the robe was J.K.
And they got starstruck by the person who came out and yelled at him.
If you grew up watching TV, that means you grew up watching murder. We kill the people who taught us to kill.
Yeah, this is where we divert from the real history, I'm imagining. Because now they've got a whole different theory about what they're going to do.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I forgot my knife in the car. Okay, I'll be right back.
I'm getting the sense that she's chickening out and she's going to take off in the car. Yep, not terribly subtle.
What do we do now?
Well, we do what we came to do. And when we're done, we split up and hitch home. Okay, pig killers, let's kill some piggies.
People who know this better, I know we've diverted from the actual history now, but people who know what actually happened better than I do as far as the Manson murders, did that part happen? Did they have somebody who kind of bailed at the last second because they lost their nerve to go through with it?
Randy, couch. And don't you move.
Okay, so we have murderers headed to the house, and now Cliff, who's probably one of the most equipped people to fight them off, is tripping on acid.
The train has left the station.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a very interesting encounter. Where's Rick at this point? Wasn't he in there making drinks for himself? I was like, yeah, he's going to eat some of it at some point.
Whoa.
Everything's interesting when you're tripping on acid, apparently. All right, there he is. And they've given him an excuse. Yeah, he's kind of forgotten about being cordial to his friend's new wife sleeping in the next room.
Now, I do not want to get into it tonight.
Yeah, you are going to be glad you had this dog.
Can I help you?
Is a can of dog food a weapon? We're about to find out, I think.
You are real, right?
I'm as real as a donut, motherfucker.
I don't think I've heard that phrase before. And I don't think anyone else has ever said that.
And I'm here to do the devil's business.
No, I was dumber than that.
Ooh, he's trained Brandy to do more than I thought. And there is the dog food as a weapon. No, don't let it hurt Brandy. Yikes. Yikes, dude. This is violent even for Tarantino. Ooh. Yeah, they picked the wrong house. Ooh. Even she knows how to fight a little bit. It seems like that's the premise. Just what if the Manson murderers really picked the wrong house? Yikes. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down much. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know how much of this is going to make it into the YouTube edit. Dude, I can even tell it's a dummy at this point. She's gone. Yeah, there goes the radio into the water. Ooh. So she drowned? Or... Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we're that lucky. Yeah, that's smart, actually. Have the dog in there with you. She'll protect you. You had to know that was coming into play at some point. You don't just show what's in the shed and then don't use it. I can't say I predicted that. Also, it shows how far gone she was, because the solution to her problem is just drop into the water.
Francesca!
He's still got a knife in his hip, I think. Yep. So the Manson murders never happened because they went to the really wrong house instead.
I heard the sound of the noisy muffler. I looked up at the clock. It said the kitchen clock said midnight.
And you didn't see him again until the woman attacked you in the pool?
Nope.
From Rick's perspective, this woman just burst out of his house all of a sudden after he saw him in the car.
Perpetrators are hippie assholes. And he said, I'm here to do some devil shit. That's not verbatim.
It's good to see that Cliff is okay, but he's still probably tripping at this point. I don't think that statement's going to be very helpful to them unless they get a translator.
What hospital you going to, Cliff? I'll meet you there, huh?
Hey, I'm not gonna die. Make it Olympic.
Maybe they are really friends, even though it hasn't been a perfect friendship. They've been through a lot together.
Come visit me tomorrow. Bring bagels.
See you tomorrow then.
Yeah, you gotta got more than that. That's not very satisfying.
You're a good friend, Cliff.
I tried.
Yeah, he saved your ass. And ironically, him going out and being a jerk to him in the car is what completely changed the trajectory here. This is a little different than Inglourious Bastards. It really just focuses on what if one event completely skewed an actual historical event for something else to happen, it feels like.
You're Rick Dalton, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so now he's going to meet him this way?
What the f happened?
These hippie weirdos broke into my house.
Wow. Is he going to use this to turn his career around?
I burnt her to a crisp.
How'd you do that?
I got a flamethrower in my tool shed.
Oh, from the 14th Fist of McCluskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. He knows his movie and he's a fan of him.
Is everybody okay?
Well, the f***ing hippies aren't.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
I'm talking to your next door neighbor about it right now.
Rick Dalton?
And she's a fan of him.
Are you okay?
Well, yes, I am. Thank you for asking that.
You'd like to come up to the house for a drink and meet my other friends?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
He's trying to be casual. I love that that's what happens. That's great. You can't ask for a better payoff than that, I don't think. We need a wrap up though. Like we need to have him tell us what happens. Like his whole career turns around and Cliff goes with him. I mean, it's certainly a nicer ending as far as, innocent people didn't get murdered. It's a very creative ending. You create kind of a actor who's on his way down. You divert this history his direction, and somehow this whole horrible event turns his career around. Oh, we don't get the wrap up. It would have been interesting. I mean, they probably don't want to feed that to you like that, but it would have been interesting to have a whole thing about what his life went on to be. Anyway, let's talk about it in the wrap up. Let's go to the wrap up. Well, that was certainly a unique experience, even among Quentin Tarantino movies. What I was trying to say before is that I wish there had been some kind of wrap-up at the end. They were doing all this stuff before where they were telling us over certain periods of time that passed, like when he went to Rome and all of that, what happened. A lot of times you can have those things at the end where it says this person went on to do this and this person went on to do that. A little, just even freeze frame with a text card that said, Rick Dalton went on to star or co-star in the next big Roman Polanski movie, and it really springboarded his film career into legitimate American cinema or a legitimate international cinema. And that Cliff went with him the whole way. I mean, I guess he would have to be doing stuff that called for a stunt double for that to be the case. If he's doing dramatic things and stuff like that, I don't know if that would work. They were talking about Roman Polanski having directed Rosemary's Baby. I don't imagine there were a lot of stunt doubles in Rosemary's Baby. Anyway, getting back to the actual movie. I think that this is an interesting genre, or I don't know if it'd be a full genre of its own or maybe a subgenre of storytelling, is historical fiction. And I know there's a lot of this that happens in written work. I wonder how all of you out there can help me if there's other good historical fiction movies that you like that are out there that I probably don't know about. Take a factual event, take it a different direction based on something, some divergent event happening that didn't really happen, but it's like, hey, what if this happened instead? I know they're out there. I know I probably know some that I've forgotten. You have certain historical fiction that's more kind of voyeuristic, just to kind of show you what happened. Like, for instance, Titanic would be a good example. It doesn't really change anything that happened as far as the historical information we have of what happened with the sinking of the Titanic, but you have this fictional story that happens in the midst of it. And you see that a lot. Like, you see that with war movies and stuff like that, where you'll have a story that happens within World War II or something, say. It doesn't change what happened in World War II most of the time. I mean, Inglourious Bastards did, but But like you have a fictional story that takes place to kind of show you even all of these different things happening in this historical event. Forrest Gump was that way. He was like this tour guide through all of these different major historical things, like actual historical things that happened. And Inglourious Basterds obviously kind of took its own direction, but this was really a thing where it's like, here is a historical event that for people who know this, they know how it happened. And here is the moment, like even for me, even for somebody who doesn't know the actual history of this very well, that's obviously the moment where things diverged. Rick Dalton didn't really exist, so there was nobody to go out and do that in the real story, yell at them, make an impression, kind of send them back to kind of regroup what they were going to do, and end up changing their plan. But really kind of the interesting idea of take this historical event, what if this one thing had gone different? What would have happened? I think that could be a really interesting idea to explore for lots of different major historical events. So please share with me in the comments if you know of other ones, of other films in particular that have done that. I know there's got to be tons of books out there that have examined that kind of idea. As far as this movie itself, how much did I enjoy it? I was iffy in certain places about how much I was enjoying it. I've heard people who watch this movie say that they love this movie, or that I had one person comment that this is their favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. They might be watching right now. I don't know if I can say this is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. It's certainly very unique, which is saying something for Quentin Tarantino, to still be able to do something that you don't necessarily expect. I did really enjoy it, and I'll say that I enjoyed it more probably in the latter half. I mean, that makes sense. It's when a lot of the action starts happening in the latter half than I did in the first half. The first half was a lot of setup. The first half, there was a lot of, kind of more drawn out slow moments. You were really trying to get a sense of who these people are and where they were in their life at that time, so that you can really establish the world so all of this stuff can happen. But just kind of the details of the story and kind of the energy of the story ramping up, leading up to the conclusion. I really feel like they paid everything off well. I really feel like for people that are used to a Tarantino movie carrying a certain amount of violence and not feeling like they were getting that. The one thing I'll say is I feel like they kind of paid off all of that in one moment as opposed to spreading it out throughout the movie. I mean, the Kill Bill movies, you have that in various points throughout. Pulp Fiction, you have that various points throughout. Reservoir Dogs, maybe not. Maybe that's another one where most of the violence is kind of condensed to a certain area. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched Reservoir Dogs. But you know what I mean. I feel like, Hateful Eight even, it was spread out more than that. So this, it really didn't have any violent moments until it kind of all just happened right at the end. But it made sense for the story and the way they told it. But I did really enjoy it. I think everybody did a really good job. I thought it was interesting, the idea, again, like Margot Robbie playing Sharon Tate, but then she goes to see her movie, like they were interspersing, it seemed like, the movies and footage of the real people with the people that were playing them on screen. So I thought that was an interesting choice. But as far as rating this movie, I think I'd give this movie 4 stars. It was very enjoyable. A great addition to Quentin Tarantino's unique library of movies that he's created. I believe he said this was the 9th film. He said something about we're supposed to get 10, and then he's going to retire from making movies. I don't know why you'd ever retire if you're enjoying making movies. Really glad that I was able to finally watch this. I have now officially seen all of the Quentin Tarantino movies, even though some of them I haven't seen in quite a while. I hope we'll explore some more of them out here on the channel. Thank you for being here with me today to watch it. A reminder to watch the full-length watch-along. It's available for free, at least right now as of the recording of this video, over on the Patreon. Really appreciate it if you take a look over there. Got full-length watch-alongs. We're going to have exclusive television watch-alongs over there. Really appreciate it if you go have a look. And for this channel, if you'd be so kind, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Click the bell so you can see when I'm putting out new videos. And I will see you on the next reaction. Thank you again for being here. Take care.